Hey squaddies, and welcome to Thriving with the Sussexes. My name is Deanna and I'm here to report on all things Sussex. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Now let's get on with it. I commend journalist Ona Scobie for calling out the hypocrisy regarding the royal family of what seems quite obvious of their punishment to Prince Harry for leaving the toxic establishment and for speaking his truth. And in my opinion, it is the truth. Oma laid out the obvious, in that as Prince Harry should be granted security when visiting his home country. He isn't even asking to get it for free. He literally wants to pay with his hard-earned money, so what's the problem? His grandmother, Queen Elizabeth, has received many threats her entire life. There was recently an incident where someone was arrested and charged for trying to take her out. Of course it naturally makes sense that she's provided security, but why not Harry? After Miss Elizabeth, he's the most popular and well-known member of that family. He too received threats. His wife, Princess Meghan, receives them as well. I wouldn't be surprised if she gets most of them. And you know their children receives them. Remember that hate supremacist podcast host who openly stated that the young prince should be put down for his racial diversity? Yes, they have protection in the United States. But what happens when they return to Harry's birth country, where his American guards have no jurisdiction to use their weapons to protect the family there? And after all the examples listed amongst plenty of others, it comes back to, what's the problem? Why are certain family members like Butterteeth Andrew granted security? An individual who has done so many wicked deeds to make that royal family continue to look as evil as they already are. And still, he gets to have protection without a care to his sweat-free world. All Harry did was fall in love, saw his worth, and protected his family by moving out. This is the most basic way of explaining it. Yet, it's like he has to jump over many hurdles to have something as simple as his natural right to be allowed security. And this all goes back to him having a cowardly narc for a father. Let's face it, Charles is an awful father, no matter how you look at him. Hopefully not for long. You see how fake he presents himself. I was fortunate to have grown up with an amazing father who provided for my family. My mom, siblings, and myself, and my pet cat Simba. I think back to my childhood and remembering my father and all the times he spent with us, from watching cartoons to movies to watching him play his guitar. He worked all week, Monday through Friday, and he would cook breakfast for us every weekend because he enjoyed that. Cooking really big breakfasts while having this sense of comfort, happiness, and love. Heck, he even made cookies. His cooking and baking were top tier. Everybody to this day still talks about it, especially those cookies. From a supporter of both Harry and Meghan, watching the old interviews and pictures, I don't see Charles being that kind of dad to either of his sons, especially not to Harry. To me, everything about Charles seems fake. He's a narcissist in my opinion, and I will continue to say it. If it makes him look good in the eyes of the public, then he will pretend to be this upstanding guy. Charles and Harry are nothing alike, and you know why? Because unlike Harry, Charles didn't protect his young and inexperienced wife. Diana's family didn't protect her either, since they literally pushed her off to a predator. What kind of man will look at a 16-year-old girl and say, okay, here is my Prince Charles impression. I remember thinking what a very jolly and amusing and attractive 16-year-old she was. I mean, great fun and bouncy and full of life and everything. Attractive 16-year-old, bouncing and full of life? His choice of words were so problematic and creepy. And when asked if they were in love, the 19-year-old Diana said without hesitation, of course. While Charles dragged out whatever love means. Ooh, you know that his horse was neighing to the sun sets. You know she was happy, wearing those horse teeth from ear to ear. Okay, I'm gonna stop the shade and just, keep it moving. I'm sure if it were 50 years earlier, he would have already popped the question at that point. Charles didn't seem to be there for her. He just left her off with a bunch of strangers who were old enough to be her grandparents. And I'm sure most of those people didn't believe in women progressing and living independently. Charles surely didn't. He was too busy rolling in the hay with his horse. Now fast forward to the end of their marriage, where he could have at least had the decency to make sure she was safe. But he was busy being jealous of her popularity and waking up with fleas with his dog. His mistreatment led Diana to her untimely end, and the relationship with his sons was hardly endearing. Only in front of the cameras, he looked like he was the father of the year. Then using Harry, his spare, as the scapegoat, making him seen in the public as this less than smart bad boy who was always in trouble, and not really seeing him crying out for help. And all these words saw were dollar signs and an opportunity to write books of falsehoods based on spending only 5 minutes with Prince Harry. I'm sure Harry and his brother eventually had their share of misfortunes, but only one of them was seen in the press, while the other was protected by the invisible contract. Pardon me while I peg this laundry. Now fast forward again to Prince Harry meeting and marrying his soulmate, Princess Meghan, to which Charles tried to make himself look like Father of the Year in front of the cameras and the public after Meghan's own father tried to sabotage her big day by neglecting and lying on her. I am so over these unreliable men featured in this podcast. Ugh. Harry grew up and witnessed the phony and fakery, but like a lot of children who grew up with neglectful parents, he gave his dad the benefit of the doubt. He still loves him regardless. I've seen it on the Oprah interview. He still has love for his father, but his family is way more important. Their safety and protection is a higher priority, but I still sense that he has love for his father. So, that love will never go away. It's natural, it's normal for any child to love their parent. But it's also natural to love from a distance. So I think that's for the best, and good on Harry. Even if it seems like his father doesn't return that love genuinely. I've been around enough foster children to know this. Harry wasn't quite different in that aspect. But he's witnessed his mother go through so much that when he has his wife around these people, he remains like an observant soldier, like her bodyguard. Sort of like how Frank was with Rachel from the classic movie The Bodyguard. I love that movie. And when Princess Meghan started receiving the abuse, Harry did what any decent man would do, and that's leave the environment that's causing that trauma. As I mentioned before, he witnessed his mother being treated the same exact way, with no protection, no one there to comfort her, or use their power to stop that hurt. Because Charles had that power, he just refused to use it. Harry, on the other hand, did whatever it took to get his family out of that house of hell. And his punishment? Getting cut off by his father. His father used financial abuse against his son, thinking he will crawl back to him begging and pleading for his forgiveness, underestimating him, not realizing that Harry has a wife who has worked since she was 13 years old, who is self-made, and knew good people. Enters Oprah and Tyler Perry, a stranger to Harry to a certain extent, someone who was in blood coming in to their rescue and providing protection while they get their new lives situated. And Harry had his mother's protection as well through the inheritance she left him. With some of that, they bought themselves a house for their growing family while still earning their own money that helped them pay off whatever debt that they owe and was free of that neglect. And now they're living and thriving every step of the way. As a very popular public figure, he naturally needs professional security. And unfortunately, the security in the United States doesn't have the jurisdiction to carry weapons. But the security in the UK does, and he's being refused it. Not only is that not fair, it's gravely dangerous. If Charles can provide security to his horse's children, and if a butter-toothed, sweat-free monster can have security, then why can't Harry and his family? And as mentioned before, he's not even asking to get it paid for free. Even though he's the son of an heir and has their birthright, but as a man, he wants to pay with his own money, his own hard-earned money. And Charles has that power because we all know he's literally the unofficial king, with him mostly handling his mother's duties. All he has to say is, provide my son and his family all the security they need. That's all he has to say. But he won't, because he's a narc. And you know how narcs are, they love being in control. And that is his only way to control Harry in his sick narc mind. At least that's how I see it. And his brother isn't at all innocent in this. If Mr. Incandescent can conveniently pull some strings for his own benefit, and if he loves his brother, then why is he silent on the matter? Oh, that's right. Like father, like son. Now, will Prince Harry be granted his right to have security? I believe he will. He knows how this game is. He's played it his entire life. He's a fighter, and I believe he will win in the end. And in other news, a huge congratulations goes to Prince Harry and Princess Meghan for Archewell Foundations. The charitable organization has been honored with a special award for its support of the Human First Coalition, an organization supporting and advocating for Afghan refugees, as well as providing humanitarian aid to those in need. The Duke and Duchess won't be able to attend the ceremony in New York, so the executive director for Archewell Foundation, James Holt, will accept the award on their behalf. This is the Sussex's second high-profile accolade. The first was the President's Awards from the NAACP Image Awards back in February. Past recipients of that award includes Muhammad Ali, Colin Powell, Venus and Serena Williams, and Jay-Z. I'm so proud of the Sussexes for their continuation of service to the people. They continue to show the world that service is universal. I'd like to thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and hit that bell. My name is Deanna, and you are watching Thriving with the Sussexes. Talk to you soon.